Today, going to make window templates, and this is the first one, and I'm going to do, this is the second one I made. This one just needs a bit of trimming, edge, and I already made this one, but I'm going to give it another cut, another resize, so I'm just not that happy. And that's the cool thing about all this. Do all this now, because once the glass is cut, it's cut forever. You have to live with it. So it's just best that we just do these enjoyable things now rather than later. You need to get a pen. Got to get me a pen, a marker. So, yeah, like I say, make this one a bit bigger. Now I've checked this template that I've made on the windows. One side fits closer than the other. Nothing's obviously perfect. And it looks like one of them I'll have to build the outer edges up a bit more and stuff like that. Now, like as always, I can cheat. The guillotine's going to do this, a lot of the hard cuts, but there's going to be hand cuts as well. So yeah, quite fun stuff. There's all the fun stuff out of the road. And right. Gotta beat the guillotine. What's great about the guillotine, it just keeps everything flat. Now, if I use around hand electric shears there, what the shears actually do is actually pull the sides up. So it's stretching the middle, which is hard because I did that on one of the front windscreens. Let's put a slight twist in it, which is a bit shit. You don't want that. You're trying to work everything out flat. You know, not everyone's going to rush out and spend $5,000 to get a guillotine, then have three-phase power. It's just so. This is just to show everyone some basics. What I do is I go get my trusty snips. Trusty snips. So I thought I'd just show you on the basics, the simple stuff first. Now I'm going to cut on the outside of the lines because I want it bigger. I can always trim it smaller. So like I say, one of them is I'm going to have to build the corners in one of those quarters. So you're sort of not, relying on. So the whole thing is a 3 mil gap is what they want. When I say they, the glass people. Glass, thank God the glass guy is just not a regular glass guy. He's actually a car enthusiast, so he knows what he wants too, which makes it a bit easier. When they're not car people, you try to explain this stuff, they look at you like you've got 2 holes in your head. 2 damn holes in your head, not one. Now, if I haven't explained it before, what I'm using, composite sheet, composite sheet, aluminium, and this is the stuff that's got a layer of aluminium on the outside, about 1 mil thick, maybe even less. The rest of it's 3 mil plastic in between, and then 1 mil again of aluminium. So that's why it's pretty easy to cut. Now this stuff is pretty famous on car trailers. And they're closed in car trailers. Super lightweight, super easy to work with. It actually takes over from just being straight white aluminium sheet. Aluminium, not aluminum. If you had to spell it, it's A-L, L, then mini, like the car, mini, and then U-M, aluminium, not aluminum. Funny how we twist it around. It's like how we spell tyres. Tyres, I reckon, in Australia is spelt wrong, and in the English language, which is T-Y-R-E-S. I think the proper way is like the Americans have to spell it, T-I-R-E-S. So you can blame your forefathers for those little fights and arguments and things like that. That's why some people drive on the left-hand side of the road and other people drive on the right-hand side of the road. Politicians. All right, let's see how that fits. Rightio. This guy is a little bit lumpy through here. I'll try not to get it in. Like I say, you could be doing this with a bit of timber in the air. Something you want to. The thing is about your templates, in this case, something you can control, sand, might take time, but and it's probably the materials you can use at hand. You know, you can't handle, you can't give a guy. I wouldn't be giving the cardboard for my templates for the glass. That is just too risky. And why it's risky because as it moves around, it flops, so you don't get a true thing like a solid mass. This ain't flopping like that. Not only that, being cardboard, if you bang it about, you might lose the corners of it. You know, someone's got to read from that. So I wouldn't risk it. Let's have a look. Yeah, pretty happy with that. What I'll do is sand it. Pretty happy with that. I don't know if you can see. So you got a real straight edge then to a curve. So you got a little like hexagon edge. So you want to get rid of all your little hexagon edges. Give it a sand, and that's where you can work with it. That's why it needs to be probably a mass too for your keeping it solid. All right. So I'm using the 40, 40, 40. something like that. I'll go and try and fit it, trial fit it, and yeah, keep working out what I need to take away. Okay, there's something I must highlight here. Now, see me pointing out this edge here? It took me a bit to figure out what was going on. Now, I would have preferred to put the glass on the inside, just like that. But what's happened is there wasn't enough edging. Now, where I'm highlighting there, I actually filed that down to nothing, and then it left me, what I'm about to show here, a 3mm edge. And it's been beaten on my head trying to figure out what's going on. So the glass is going to have to sit like this. The only thing I could figure out is the previous owner, Jeff, was an old school hot rodder. And all the bodies had around about 10mm or 3/8 edging all the way around for the glass. And what I've come down to the theory is he was going to put rubbers, so a rubber lip, because he owns a steel body 34 Ford. So I think he was just mirroring off the other car. That's my theory on it anyway, because there was no way in hell I can get this glass inside the car because there was not enough. I took those lips away and I thought, this is mad. There's no edge to glue the glass in. And then I looked at the inside moldings and everything, and there's just not enough space. So in this case, so not everyone's going to be the same, but in this case, all my glass will be glued on the outside. And what I do plan on doing is actually just knocking those edges down a bit more, less edge, less shoulder, so it doesn't look so fat, if you know what I mean. So I'm probably going to really minimize it as much as possible. So there we go. I'm just trimming out some edging here. Yeah, so those edges I'll trim. Right, I'll show you something. So believe it or not, this one was for the other window. We're on the passenger side of the car. So I thought I'd just come over and check and yada yada. And it actually fits better here than the other side. So I thought, why keep trimming that side, lose the profile? With this one's pretty close already, you see? So what I did was make another one. I'm keeping this one, but this one originally was for over the other side. This one's becoming the passenger because it's giving me my gaps I want. There's probably a little bit of a there, a little bit of whatever, and yeah, so I am happy with that. So basically, that's how we want the gaps. Probably taking a little bit off up here, around there. So you've got your 3mm. Was it 3mm, 1/8, 1/16, whatever it is. And yeah, that's what I'm going to do. This guy has got a new job. He used to be over there. He's over there. And what I will do, there's actually plastic on there, plastic coating. So I'll take it off and then bright white. Now this stuff is what they call sign white. So all your signs, that's where you see your closing car trailers and things like that built out of this stuff, so they can put all their signage and whatever. It's also used for signs, billboards and things like that. Yeah, so I'll take the plastic off once I'm all happy, write on it, and I'm going to write on the outside, like let's say passenger side out. I don't know because how they chamfer the glass. I don't know if it makes a difference to them, but that way I cover myself rather than go, I don't know, I don't know. And if we clarify all this now as much as we can, and if I'm wrong, it's good to be wrong, and then it's just easy to do. So yeah, all of this stuff. I tell you, this window, the back window, front window, took me roughly 4 days building this edge up from 10 mil, because there's the original edge there, which I prefer to 10 mil, but you're not giving it enough blue area when it sits in there. So you want to have a good edge for it to glue into. So I didn't particularly want to do it. I could probably take a little bit more off up here. And yeah, well, yeah, he's going to chooses in this thing. This is the bigger one I just trimmed out. And I prefer the bigger one to be a bigger trimmed out situation. So I'm just resting that thing on the edge, trying to maintain some of it, the curvature of the thing. Taking away where it's fouling a bit. It's easier when it's bigger. You just take away. When it's small, pain in the backside because you're going to make a whole new one again. So some of this has already got 3 mil gaps. So that's where you sort of don't want to take away too much. And the other thing you got to think of, I got to add paint yet to this high build primer and things. That's why it's real important to do this stuff now. And was I knocking out the video? But that's why it's real important to do this stuff now. You don't make it. If you had this all painted and you come along and you see something that's scratch it, or even if it was wood, whatever, and when it is painted, there's no room for you to go, you know what, I might just think, which I still might do, so there's a bit of body fill there and a couple of spots. So some of these things will dictate as well. So it's best to do now. Best, it's like fitting the engine and fitting everything all before it's painted, all that stuff. And saying all of that, there's still a couple of things on this thing I'm still a bit stressed about. I'm going, oh, I haven't fitted. I haven't fitted like little things like air condenser, even though it goes to the radiator. Where am I going to put the fan? The fan is so close to the engine on this thing, it's stupid because you want to suck the air through the radiator. And now I'm starting to think I might probably need to put a fan on the outside to push through. So, because clearances and clearance and all that stuff going on. So there's still little things that I have not done. You sort of think, because you're still trying to foresee the big picture. So you do as much as you can in this position, but at the end of the day, there still might be a couple of things. Or once you got the package in front of your face, then you go, right, I need to do this. Next thing you know, you've got brand new fresh paint. You're drilling a hole. Some things just happen like that. You know what I was just thinking? I was just thinking, I think it's just a bit high there, and I think that's it. I'll be able to leave it tight there. The thing about this, the glass is going to come back before I have this painted. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen. By the time, like tomorrow, I give the templates. Let's say there's a week, even 2 weeks turnaround. The way things are lined up for me, I don't think I'm going to have this thing painted probably by July. For some that you know, some that you don't, I have prostate cancer. So they're going to cut the prostate out of me in the next 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. And so yeah, things are going to have to come to a screaming halt for a while. So Glass will be back before this will be painted, which is a shame because, you know, it'd be nice. I was on such a roll. Yes, I'm happy with that. Better movement. Like I say, glass will be here with me, so I could always do a double check. And I'll probably even ask for these simpler. By the time I clean up these edges, sand off a bit. Yep. So that's us in a nutshell. That is us in a nutshell. And I put left hand side and I put out. Now, like I say, I don't know. He is going to put a chamfer on this glass. So I would imagine the chamfer might be like that. Or like something different. But I thought just keep it simple. And so he goes, oh, yeah, I know. So whichever, if there is a chamfer in a special way of outside, we know. Right? Well, you can see the front one's in. Now the front one, I've got these little aluminium spaces here. And I'm going to be happy with that because there will be a bit of filler and stuff, and like I said, the primer. So you want to leave a bit of clearance around your gaps. And yeah, that's us basically the nutshell. So once again, I wrote the outside. There goes. Talk about bevel edges. I'm unsure, but that's us. And the interesting thing about the windscreen, if I flip this, so this side goes over that side, it doesn't fit. These corners are not the same. So that's what you've got to watch in some of these things. It'll be interesting, just how it was made in general. But yeah, and then I'll show you the other one. Gosh, pretty good too. So with a little bit of fillers, I still got to rub carry on. Like I say, I got to paint the high build. I mean, the high build would be good. You just don't know. And that's what you're going to leave. And also, I'm going to get these back. That way, it's still being this raw finish. It's still be glass and things like that. So it's still being a raw finish. And yeah, it's like still. So at least I'll have the glass, and I'll have these as a template. I'll keep the glass in the package till I'm ready, and I'll just keep working everything with these because I know these are the actual size of the glass. Okay, trying to keep this close for you guys to see. So I'm going to cheat. Yes. That there's the profile of the window. But that's the profile of the inside of the thing. So we're going to use the mold. Now, it's going to be close than trying to get a piece of cardboard and da-da-da. And I might end up making two of these pieces because just to have this stuff right. So it's the inside measurement what I care about. Oh, you pumped it. Oh, yeah, something like that. So you've already got a profile happening. Yeah, I could have done the cardboard and set it in there and try to find your radiuses. Yeah, but actually, these pieces, that's how I did that piece. And then what I did, I moved it around because the moulding is actually slightly bigger than the glass. Well, let's see if that's true or not. So I'll cut this out and we'll go from there. We'll do a fitment and have a look. Now look at there. There's the rough cut. Now the first thing I'm noticing, I can put my finger under this. So obviously that moulding got the arch, back window is straight, which is good because I can do. I'm going to make another one, obviously. Come out. Slightly wider, which is all right, and I'll do a straighter cut. Actually, I'll check of a straight edge, see how straight it is. So a 2-foot ruler, or mill. Yeah, look at that. There's a slight drop on the ends, but most of it pretty straight. So there would be a slight arch here, but it's slight. Not as severe as that moulding. That's right. Then keep on going. Right. So pretty close. It's big. So that's what I want. So what's actually happening, because this is cut on a straight line, there is a slight taper going on in the center. I wouldn't even use this because it was so out of whack. Maybe I'd use a slight, maybe I'll do something. The arch is already there. So we just want something to draw against. As you can see, my level of measuring is high tech. Funny, I used to work with an engineer who was a tool maker. So if you're unsure what a tool maker is, basically everything that you buy, a car panel, parts, is made by, well, in the old days, it used to be a tool maker, now it's all drawn up by CNC machines. But in the old days, the tool makers would make a die. So that die, let's say it's the front guard of a car. To make the 57 guard, there might be 2 dies. You might even go through a 3-die process to actually make that guard. And when you work with tool makers, so they got 2 halves. So everything would be machined down, like then with the lathe, or not so much the lathe, but to do a die, it would be milling and things like that, measuring micrometers to get those real accurate measurements. But, so he was used to that. And I came along with fresh air stuff. That's what I was like. So, I'll go see how this is. All right. So you can see it in there now. And, excuse me, just the jack. So what I'm going to do is, bit of the Kiwi coming out, so obviously it's big and that's what I want. So I'm going to draw a line like so, like that. Right, and I'll do the same over the other side. I'm following that profile of the edge of the window. Now, obviously, because you are doing it freehand, you've got to be careful you don't wobble up and down. So up here's high, down there's, it's all freehand to the max. And there's your profile curve. Look at this corner. So all I'm trying to work on is that edge first. So it drops down to the top, and then I'll work all this stuff out after. So 80% of it sitting in there. It's right here. Probably I'm in the view of it, but from here, bit proud through here because now the top is pushed the bottom down. Oops. And straight lines just represent where I'm going to go, so I'm not going too far up. Then when it gets too ugly, I'll clean it all off and give it fresh lines. So, there it isn't. Now, I think I've trimmed the edges, starting to sit in there more. Like I say, I'm going to trim my 3mm. Where that black stuff is gone, it's gone good. What I might do, trim some more off the bottom. Yeah, I trim off the bottom, it'll sink the fraction, so it saves trying to trim off the top and stuff. They'll do a big drop. You know what I mean? So if I only trim the here, so the gaps will come down. Gaps come down here. Pretty happy with the gap right there. Trickery. Where'd you get those sneakers? Yeah. Because I do have a gap. It's still sitting a bit up there. Definitely sitting up on here. Yeah. So I won't bore you with the details, but that gives you an idea. And it's just, sanding, dressing, sanding, dressing, sanding, dressing. Fit and fiddle, fit and fiddle, fit and fiddle. What you got to do to build a car. Well, the audio carked itself once again. So what I'm doing here, this door card, that's actually a bit of wood. And Jeff, the previous guy, made the template for it. And everything is fine. The only thing that I got to do is make the corner sharper. So see where I'm at now, where there's a radius. I don't want that. So it's going to be sharper with just a very slight radius so it fits into the corner of the channel of the weather strip. And the other thing that's very deceiving about this this panel, I thought, oh, maybe it probably wasn't trimmed 100%, but right where I am there, it actually has a slight arch in that profile of that window. And when I went back and checked it on the body the door, top of the door has a slight arch to it. It's really slight, because when you put a straight edge to it, it wasn't right. So I had to mention that to the window guy also, not to, I haven't made a mistake there because I double checked it. And that's why it's so important that you make these as close as possible as you can, because you're giving something to somebody and they're only going to read what you give them, because the computer will lay over the top of it and do a measurement. And now if it thinks, oh, it's a bit hairy through there, there's a dip and a low, it will actually naturally take it out. So these things you have to be careful about. So what I'm doing now is just making a right angle. One of the things I think I mentioned in another video that's coming, right behind me, there's the big guillotine. Now where I'm off to now is a little foot guillotine. The foot guillotine has a blade roughly about, I don't know, 900 long, just under a meter. And it was actually made by my old boss. It was built probably in about 1965, 1966, something like that. It's very old, and it is still good to this day. What I say is treat your machinery with respect and things like that. Like, don't put things that are too thick through there, like that. That composite sheet is very soft. It's easy to cut. So you don't always need big, heavy machineries to do that sort of stuff. Okay, so close, weird. That's the bottom of the windowsill on the outside of the car. So the reason I marked that, because regulations in Australia, the engineers want to see that it's safety glass. It has to be printed. If I put it down here, they'll actually tear the insides of the doors off to see it. And if it's not on there, they won't pass the car. So it's all those little things that, we have to do in Australia. Now, I don't mind that, because in a real world, this car's never, ever, ever been on the road. So, if something happens, if it's in an accident, those guys are putting their names to that car, to this car, saying it's safe, followed all the protocol. So I don't mind it being like that. So it comes up, yeah, just like that. Nice and snug. No backwards and forwards, so it's just housed in there. Good. Turn the compressor off. Yeah, so it's housed in there good, and everything's fine. Now, to give you guys an example, do all these today, and the front window was already done the other day. All up, this has taken 8 hours. So that gives you an idea, when you start something. Now that's loose. That's how it's designed to go in and out. That gives you an idea how long it takes to do something. So tomorrow, I will take it to the Gold Coast. Do a 80, 100k trip, something like that. Something like that, in peak traffic. Good times, mate, on a Friday. Good times. But that gives you an idea. So, yeah, hope helps you out if you want to tackle this sort of stuff. Ciao for now.